What's good, guys? This is Big J again, and today we're gonna learn how to do a CAD drawing for an infinity mirror.
Let's go. Okay, good. Yes. So, Infinity Mirror, like Cadin always, is an additive software. So, we're going to start by making the border, which is the pine wood on the outside of our Infinity Mirror. I'm going to start by doing a sketch, and I'm going to make each of these 4 pieces of pine wood. I'll do a rectangle shape. I did my sketch. I'm going to start by making the rectangle. This is going to be a profile of the piece of wood. And let's just say, I'm just guessing it with the size of my fingers here. So it's about 40, let's say it's going to be about 15 millimeters thick is each piece of plywood. Sorry, not plywood, pine wood. And the other dimension could be 50 millimeters. So that is the profile of the piece of wood that we're making. And so when we do that finished sketch and we extrude that, this will be the height of the mirror. Does anybody, hold on, I'm just going to pick up the mirror. I may as well make the ratio similar to the piece. So according to this template we have over here, the mirrors are 17 by 12 centimeters. So the height of this will be at least LB 7. This over here is our first piece of wood. It's 17 high. And then 17 centimeters. And what we'll do actually is we'll visualize, okay, we're going to have to put our mirror. I'm just going to draw what the mirror would look like over here, and I'll leave it in sketch form. The mirror is going to be 170 millimeters high and 120 millimeters. So that is the size of our mirror. So over here, I'm doing the border. Just so we can see, that's where the mirror is going to fit, and we'll obviously make that into a rendered object later. Let's then get our piece to go over the top. And for this one, we're going to do the same approach. We're going to sketch. We'll sketch on this plane over here. And I want to keep these as individual parts. And I'll show you why, because we're going to use the 3D appearance tool to make them actually look like real pieces of wood, which is going to look a lot better for our rendered drawings. So this one will be the same length. It'll be 12 by 50. Finish. And we can go and we can extrude this. So when we extrude this, we want to extrude this way, but we want to fix up this corner over here, right? We want it to actually look reasonable. So instead of doing one side, we're going to do 2 sides. And 2 sides allows you to move the sketch in both directions. And we also don't want to, if we scroll down over here, we don't want to join, we want to make this a new body. And while we are at it, we should also, let me just think, if we are copying this, we want this also to be a bit larger as well, because it's going to cover the 15. It's going to cover the other piece of wood over here. So this will be 135.
And can we read that?
No. Hold on. Yeah, what's up?
I'm not doing it. For a rectangle, it's like it's overlapping. Why? What's sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a 1, 2, 3. Oh, wow.
So now I've got these 2 shapes here. And these, if we go to bodies, we'll check we have 2 bodies. These are 2 separate bodies. Then, because I have these, I'm going to just copy and paste these. Move and copy.
So, like the sketch rectangle, what is size?
17 by 12 centimeters.
It's by 12. I don't want to 22.
Someone told me it was 100. Which is lacking around.
So I moved and copied. I'll show you that move again. So I'm going to go to modify. I'm going to go to move/copy. I'm going to select this body over here. Because I'm just doing it translationally, I'm not rotating it. It doesn't matter where. I just got to select somewhere on that body. So I select that. And then before you move it, you press this copy button. If you try to move it first, that copy will disappear. That's because it's move/copy. So it does whichever command, it can only do one of the commands. So we're going to press the copy button, and now that we've copied it, we see here it's made the body, it's made the fourth body, and I can drag this one down, and I'm going to drag it.
So what are the dimensions of those, like with the top and bottom rectangles?
50 by 15 is their side.
50 by 15. Okay.
So I want to drag this down to here, but because it wasn't an exact number, well, it was, but it's like half, it's like 15. It doesn't I can't clip it there, but I believe you can press a thing. If you press this shape over here, it automatically does the length to exactly whatever you need to make it match there. So if we do this, we should have 4 shapes, 4 bodies. Right? I'll pause the tutorial now to give you a chance to do those 4 bodies. Okay, next step. Why we did this is I'm going to show you how to put appearance for this one. Remember this assessment task, there's a big emphasis on the appearance. Yeah, because you need those rendered drawings. So if we look at these bodies, and let's actually rename them. What do we even want to call this? This can be the right frame. Top frame. So if we double click if we double or triple click here, we can edit that. For this one, it doesn't seem important when you only have 4 bodies, but eventually we're going to have hundreds of bodies here, and it's important to name them.
Actually,
well, yeah, when we do the LED lights, we're going to copy paste them 100 times. So we won't make 100 bodies, but there will be hundreds of them in here. Okay, so we have this with our frames. So if we right click this and we go to appearance, and if we go to library and we type in the word pine, we have some pines available. So we have pine as a material here, and then we also have 3D pine, unfinished. So I'm going to show by first doing this. I'm just going to download both. I'm going to download this one. So that is just pine. We've added pine in there. And then I'm going to show you what 3D pine looks like. Product update. Oh no.
Which pine?
I might have to pause the tutorial to update my Fusion. I'll see. Right, click appearance. If I type pine. Hold on, I'll pause the video. Might have to reset my Fusion. Might have to update. So I've updated my Fusion, and because it is getting the appearance. Sorry, I pressed the wrong button there. Because it's getting the appearance from like a central database, it doesn't like downloading new files if you have a pending update. So how I did it in my notification center over here, it said there was an update, and I pressed that button to restart my Fusion. Depending on when you're watching this tutorial, or depending on what device you're on, that's going to be weird. But what I can do here is I can go to Pine, and I'm going to do the 3D unfinished Pine. I'm going to download that, and it says the material's downloaded, and we can tell it's downloaded by, if it's not downloaded, it's got a grey border or background. If it's white, it's been downloaded. And I can also see up here, these are the types of materials that are in my design already. So like if you're opening up a file previously and you want to see what material you used. So I want to use this 3D unfinished, and if I drag this over here, so now let's look at the difference between these pieces of pine. So this is the 3D pine, and the top one is just the regular pine. And we're going to show this, but if I hide the frame, notice here at the end, it doesn't show anything nice. It's just getting a texture, and it's just wrapping that texture around the material. But in the 3D one, it tries to assume what the end grain would look like in your piece of wood. And see how that's how the end of the piece of pine might have this end grain texture. And then it's got this long grain going across here. This is more like what our piece of wood would look like. So I'm actually, and you can also pick variants that have. Oh,
Can I just the?
yeah, use the regular one for now. Yeah. So over here, this is pine with a. What does it say here? This is pine with a light slemigloss. So maybe you put some varnish on it. For your mirror, I will keep this one. This one looks pretty good. So great. And the 3D one does look better, and it's going to look a lot better once we do our rendering. And this is why we made these individual parts. If this was all one body, CAD is thinking you're going to make this out of one solid piece of wood, which is not what our design would look like. You're not carving out of one big piece of wood. You're getting 4 individual panels of wood and gluing them together. All right, next we will do the 2 mirrors. So we've already done the sketch for the mirror. What am I doing? Hold on, escape.
So we get over.
Absolutely, you will.
Oh,
So I want to press this sketch, which is sketch number. Which sketch is this? This is my sketch to make my mirror. Extrude the thickness of this mirror. I'm guessing. I mean, you can measure it, but I'm guessing it looks like about 1.5 millimeter. Oops. What happened here? Why is it making it out of wood? Right click appearance.
Unless you do extremes, isolate the body.
Yeah, I think I accidentally clicked everything. Well, it's going to come out as wood. That's not great. Oh, I think, is this by default? Right click. Well, we don't want it to be wood. We want it to be transparent, right? We want it to be a mirror. So what we're going to do, we may as well go here and say, shh, boys, that's enough. If we do acrylic, it's going to be acrylic clear, the mirror. So we'll get our acrylic clear, we drag our acrylic clear, and that's our clear piece of acrylic. 1.5 millimeters. And that's our clear acrylic, and later we'll make a mirror if we want. And that is fine. And now we're going to move this. Move. We're going to choose some value to bring it in. Right now, I'm just guessing a value here. Let's say I bring it like that. I'll bring it into 10 millimeters and I'll press OK. And then I'm going to get that body and I'm going to copy it. Create a copy. And because remember, we need our two mirrors for our infinity mirror. We need our two panels. And I'll press OK. And I can now, it's nice clear acrylic. And I'm going to go to appearance and I'm going to actually make it into a mirror. I can right click appearance. I can go to mirror. So this mirror tool over here. Now, if I press mirror and I highlight it, there's a bit of a problem. So I'll show you the problem and then I'll fix it. If I drag this onto mirror, what it's going to do is it's turning the whole object into a mirror, which is not correct because this mirror is a mirror on one side, but it's not a mirror on this side. So what we have to do, 1.5. So instead of applying to the whole body, I'm going to undo that. I'm going to right click and I'm going to go to appearance again. We'll make faces and I'll make the face a mirror. So I've gone here I've clicked faces instead of the whole body / component. And now, hold on, I want to just select apply to. I want to just select that face, the internal face. And then I will go to appearance. Right, just that face is a mirror. And I'm going to do the same thing with the other side. But this one I want it to be a bit transparent. So I'm going to do the mirror. I'm going to duplicate it. So over here, we have this material that's in our object. Because remember, one's a full mirror and one's a semi-mirror. So how we do this, we're going to make one of them a mirror that's a bit transparent. So to do that, we get this mirror over here. We're going to right click, we're going to duplicate it. And then we're going to edit it. And over here, under advanced, is it this one? How do you send him that? Maybe it's this one.
Doesn't matter. What is that?
Maybe I just put the mirror. Maybe I did it wrong. Let's just drag this mirror over. So we have two mirrors now, and I think what we'll do here is we'll rename this Just do it by eye. Do whatever looks nice.
That one, look. Five.
Yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to label them over here. This will be the semi-mirror.
How do we make this?
I am going to get it, and I'm going to try to make it transparent. Should be able to make it. No, it should work with just one.
When it's not it. It's cool.
Oh, we'll do this. So what we can do is we can right click. Do we right click? No. Over here, semi mirror, we right click here and we change the opacity. So we're going to make it a bit transparent. And if we bring it to like, I think if we bring it to, what? If we bring it to 80%, that should work. Right click, opacity. And opacity is like how transparent it is. Well, maybe that's the option.
Oh, yeah, bye.
Oh, no, sorry. I think I know what we have to do. No. My mistake. We do not want to do, we don't want this to be a mirror.
That's where clinics are.
Yes, so we want to get this acrylic. We have clear acrylic. We want to duplicate this clear acrylic, and we want to make an acrylic that's darker. Right? So we want a darker acrylic. And will that work? Yeah. Darker acrylic, done. So we want a dark acrylic, and when we put this acrylic here, that's going to be like a black acrylic, and that's going to be like our semi-mirror. If you type in acrylic over here, it should be one of the options.
Yeah.
Download, and I copied and made a new one because I want a dark acrylic. And I'm just playing around with the colors. Make everything 100.
When you pause the video.
Soon. So before we do all of our lovely LED lights, we're going to test with just one single light and see how that turns out. And then I'll end this tutorial, but then I'll start another one in today's class, but I'll make them 2 separate videos to do all the LED lights and to pretty it up. But we want to test that this will even work at all before we bother doing all that other effort. So we need to make a little LED light. So we're going to sketch over here. I'm just going to make a square. because our LED lights are basically a like a 5x5 square. And then our LED lights are whatever by 2 high. Again, it's a new body. Okay. And I'm going to get that body. I'm going to right click appearance. And over here, I'm going to type the word emissive. If I type the word emissive means like it's releasing light. And Diffusion has that. So if we go over here, we type emissive or EM. Sorry, not emissive. We just type that. We could type in like this bulb over here. This will be fine for now. And we click and drag this. This thing is now emitting light. It's not happening in our design right now, but when we do our rendering, it should show up. So let me close this. So there's clearly our light is in there. Let me just save this. 5x5 by 2. But we're testing if our infinity mirror effect works at all, and then we'll go from there. So then I've saved it, and I go to my render. I just typed EM, and the light should pop up there. Emissive is technically the category.
So it looks like rectangle.
We're testing if the infinity light effect works.
You put that in the end.
Yes. So I'm just getting the image, approximating it there. I'm pressing the render button. And it reckons it's going to take about 10 minutes. So I'm going to render it. Render. And while it's rendering, I can edit other stuff in my video. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the video and go around and help you in the class while this is rendering. And I'll come back and undo. So I'll continue the tutorial once this has done the rendering. Okay, so the rendering has completed here. Let's have a look. Let's open up this render. And we see here, that's clearly the infinity effect is working here, right? We can see we have that one LED light and it goes bing, bing, bing all the way to the back, right? And that took time to actually render. How long do we reckon that took? 10 minutes on the PC because it's doing like ray tracing. And if we imagine it's ray tracing how many times the light is actually bouncing in between the two mirrors. But this is a very optimistic version of our effect, but we know this will work. So now I can start modifying my design to make other things look better. Like I can make more LED lights. And I also have to do the rails that are holding my mirror in place as well. I will do those two things in the next tutorial. I'll do those in the next tutorial.